Jesse Munoz here for Yakima MTG with Geoff Hamasaki.
Hey, what's going on?
Geoff, we're watching round 1, Friday Night Magic.
Yep, finally get to see you on camera.
Yeah, I'll be playing this time, and this week we are watching Legacy. So this is going to be interesting. Geoff, have you ever played Legacy before?
I've watched Legacy. I've played against Legacy decks, like with my modern deck, but I haven't done it.
Yeah, this is my first time ever playing Legacy, so we're gonna see how many mistakes everyone makes here. We have Cris Kissler on the left playing White Blue Miracles, and I'm playing Green Blue Infect on the right, which is the Tom Ross list.
Yep. Okay.
You're allowed 12 proxies in the tournament. Obviously, I'm not using Alpha or Beta Trop Islands. Those are proxied. And that blue-white land, the Tundra down there, is obviously proxies as well. All right, so he's got turn 1 Divining Top from Cris and turn 1 Glistener Elf from me into a turn 2 Ponder from Cris. The nice thing about doing commentary for this, because one, I mean, I've watched a few matches of Legacy over the years. Not really played it. I have an idea of what's going on, but there's just so many different interactions and so many different things that I just don't know.
Right. So basically, what your deck is doing is getting an infect creature out, and then being able to swing in with either like unblockable or some kind of pump spell to get it up to like a 1 or 2 shot kill. Is that right?
Yeah, that's basically it. It's kind of aggro, but it's more of you only have to hit them for 10 since it's infect. Right. You can do some cheap pump spells, so you can kind of combo off, and then you've got counter spells to protect your dude or dudette if you have a
right.
And then Cris is just trying to take control of the game. You see counterbalance in his hand. He's got swords in his hand, and then he's got a couple different win conditions with Jace and Entreat the Angels and things like that. So.
Right, and so he's able to manipulate the top of his deck a bunch, and he can like put a Entreat on the top and then just fire it off for a bunch of angels.
Yep. And in playing against Green Blue Infect, I think if he can drop a Jace, I'm be in real big trouble. Because I usually only have like 1, maybe 2 threats out at a time. You usually don't want to go too wide because you could just get Terminist.
Oh, right. Is that a counterbalance?
Yeah, so...
It is? Okay. So you can reveal that whenever you cast a spell, he reveals the top, and if it matches the converted mana cost, then he counters a spell.
Right? And since most of my spells cost 1 mana, most of his spells cost 1 mana, he can always just put the top back on the library as well and counter a 1 mana spell.
Yeah, I mean, Legacy is just dominated by 1, maybe 2 mana cost spells. Yeah. You have to be able to do something every turn.
Yeah, what's nice is cards like Invigorate or Become Immense, because they do have such a large converted mana cost. Are a lot. I mean, you can Force of Will or you can Daze them or do whatever, but usually out of the range of counterbalance. So, all right. So I'm swung in for 2 poison damage here, using the Exalted Trigger of the Noble Hierarch. And I'm actually responding to the counterbalance being played. I cast Brainstorm because once it's down, I'm gonna have a hard time casting 1 mana spells.
Right, especially when he has top to fix the top of his deck.
Right. There's a Inkmoth Nexus, which is a really important part of this deck, since there's not a ton of ways to interact with it.
Right, and it's evasive.
Yeah, I mean he does have Path that can get rid of it. I'm not sure if he runs Wasteland. Let me look.
He has swords, right? Not Path. Swords of Plowshares.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Swords of Plowshares.
The even better than Path.
Right.
Looks like he's holding 2 Force of Wills and a Dig Through Time. Is that what he has?
I'm not sure.
Something like that.
All right. So I attack for 2 and attempt to Groundswell here.
Okay, nice. And give it +4/+4.
Because I did play a land. Yeah.
After the landfall. Okay.
So he's got a dig, 2 forces, and a swords.
Okay, so if this resolves, it's going to be a 6/6 infect.
I can't imagine him letting it resolve. All right, so he fetches with the Pluto Delta, and see if you catch the mistake here that I didn't catch while I was playing.
All right, so yeah, because he got the planes instead of a blue or black.
Yeah, you can't get planes with the Pluto Delta unless it's a
right. You could get the Tundra or whatever if you wanted, but.
All right, so then he
uses the top.
So you see top, land, and counter the groundswell. And the reason I went for it is it's like you have to do it. You know what I mean? Like right, you can't just not cast spells.
The longer you wait, the more counters he's going to draw.
Right.
If you can keep your creatures off the board, then there's not much you can do.
Sure. And then so I do get in for 2. Pass the turn. So it's nice with Infect only having to go to 10. Yeah. That you can put pressure on really quick. All right, so upkeep he's going to hit top, which I don't know. He didn't really need to do because he literally just topped. Oh, but I guess he wanted that land, so that makes sense. Wanted to draw the land instead of the other Sensei's Divining Top. So
right.
All right, so again, attempt to brainstorm. And I think, again, what I'm trying to do is make him use his mana as much as I can, to top. And I get an idea of what's on top of his library and things like that. So I was pretty sure that my brainstorm wasn't going to resolve here or anytime soon.
Yeah. The tough thing is he doesn't even have to use a card to do that.
Right.
He just gets free counters, and it's pretty brutal.
Yep. All right, so I play Blighted Agent.
Okay, and that's an unblockable 1/1 with Infect.
Yep. For 1 and a blue.
Remember, this guy was super annoying when you play limited in this block.
Man. Really? Yeah. Could you pump him really quickly?
Yeah, well, you can put like an equipment on it, and then it just kill you in a couple turns.
All right, so here he swords the plowshares pre-combat. What's interesting is the target that he chooses. He chooses the Noble Hierarch.
Okay, so he doesn't want the Exalted Pump,
I just played a resolved Blighted Agent. So not sure why he got rid of the Hierarch just get rid of the Glistener Elf. Because I also tapped my Inkmoth Nexus, so I wouldn't even have an attack this turn. So he's got 2 forces and a dig, and I come in for 1. So he just goes to 5. Poison. And again, I've got a bunch of 1-drops in my hand that I can't cast. Because I know that they're just going to get countered. All right, so he looks at sword.
The top.
And then 2 more tops. Is that right?
Look like it.
The thing about going wide now is, Terminus could come down at any point, but I feel like it's better now that I've got a Blighted Agent and a Glistener Elf on board and then Inkmoth that I can activate. It's better to just keep going more wide, I guess.
Right, I think because you have the Inkmoth, you don't have to worry as much about the Terminus.
Yeah.
You're fine if he's going to just fire it off and leave you with another threat.
Right.
This is tough. It seems like a pretty tough matchup for your deck.
It's super tough. All right, so untap. Windswept Heath was the draw. There, I go activating the Inkmoth Nexus.
Okay.
He's got a swords, the dig, and then the force. So he can get rid of 1, but he's going to take 2 here, no matter what.
Yeah. Okay, so he's going to hit the Inkmoth, looks like. Got a Vines of Vastwood?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I probably should have just fired it off.
So so you're worried about it getting countered?
Yeah. So the Inkmoth is gone. And he's going to take 2 here because we saw he's got dig and a couple forces. All right, so he takes 2, goes to 7. Play the Windswept Heath and attempt to resolve the Noble Hierarch.
Okay, so maybe you should have tried to resolve Hierarch first to see if the top was going to counter it, and then you could have gone for the Groundswell.
Yeah,
I don't know. Or not the top, but the counterbalance.
Sure.
So it looked like it resolved?
It looks like it resolved, yeah. So I probably could resolve the vines.
Yeah, he would have just been dead, but...
Yeah. Well, actually, the vines wasn't... I didn't have double green at the time, so it would have been
he also has force of will, which...
Yeah. All right, so then I play another Hierarch thinking the coast is clear.
So that makes... if you can attack with 1, it's the Blighted Agent's lethal if you can't kill it.
Yeah. So what's strange here is he didn't look to see... I don't know if he knew what was on top of the library, but he's got 2 mana open, so he should at least take a look to see if Counterbalance can just take care of it. Instead, he's going to force.
Okay, discard or exile in a force.
And I'm actually 100% cool with this because Hierarchs don't really do that much for me,
right?
In the grand scheme of things.
I mean, it does make it a lethal attack on board with just the Blighted Agent.
Sure. All right, so
right now you can't, even if you attack with both, it's still only going to be 2.
Yeah. So he digs. We see a couple Jaces. We see Entreat. I think another top, another Counterbalance, and a land. So I'm guessing
pretty tough. He's in a bad spot right now.
I think you take the Jace and the land probably. That's. I mean, the Entreat. You don't want the Entreat in your hand.
Yeah, you're not going to cast Entreat.
So you could just take the polluted Delta and shuffle it back in. You don't need the Counterbalance.
I could see... No, you don't want... I mean, I could see 2 Jaces. Maybe you can, double bounce in the next turn or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I think you with the land there.
All right, so he did take the Entreat, which is a little surprising. And then he draws his swords. So that's actually pretty good. Again, if he takes the land, though, he could... If he took the land in Jace, he could have... And drew the swords, he could have played Jace, bounced one of my creatures, and swords the other one. Just try to just kind of lock me out,
True.
Because what's the ability for Jace? He's got all 4 of his abilities.
So you can brainstorm. He can bounce a permanent, I think.
Right.
Non-land permanent. He can Fate Seal, or look at the top of your library or any library and put it on the top or bottom. And then I don't even know what the ultimate is.
So the minus 1 is the bounce. Brainstorm for free, and then the +2 is the Fate Seals. His ultimate is exile all cards from target player's library. Then that player shuffles his or her hand into his or her library.
All right.
All right, so gone is the Blighted Agent. Spinning the top here, we see Brainstorm, Ponder, and a land.
You put the Ponder on top.
Yeah, but again, I feel like so if he drops Jace, right?
Yeah.
If he drops Jace and bounces my elf, I don't think I'm going to be able to play that elf again.
Well, it does tap him out completely.
Yeah, but he's got top and counterbalance.
Right, but he can't use the top.
Yeah, I guess so. I really think he missed out by not taking that land with the dig and taking that Entreat. Because that Entreat is literally doing nothing in his hand. All right, so there's a land.
Right,
Groundswell.
The elf is lethal right now.
Yeah, so in for 2. He doesn't have anything.
Why did he not play the Jace?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, at worst,
he had double blue, right?
Right. So entreat, land, and mull the council.
So he can draw the council, put the top on top, and then kill your elf?
Alright, so he just...
What is that?
It's entreat.
Okay, so entreat for 1?
Alright, so... here's what the problem is he activated the top and never gave me an opportunity to respond.
Okay.
So he just topped and put it right into play.
Yeah.
Because I have a chance to respond to the activated
the trigger, right?
So that I can actually resolve a spell. Because I know that once, I have 3 cards in my hand. I think all of them are 1 mana. Once the Divining Top goes on top, that's going to just counter everything that I play.
Right.
And if you saw, he activated the top and then just turned the entreat right over. Like there's a point where you have to actually allow the player to respond to it. So the judge actually came over and rewound the game a little bit, which is why you see the pause in the action. Because I mean, it's unfair that I see that he's playing entreat now, but I mean, before he flips the card over, I'm supposed to get the opportunity to respond to it.
Right. So he needs to tap top, and then the ability goes on the stack to draw a card.
Exactly. And
then you have a chance to play a spell before he draws the card.
Exactly. And as the top goes back on.
Right, and then he draws, and then the top goes on the top.
Right. Because so here's my process, my line of thought is I have Groundswell in hand, or I have a pump spell in hand.
I think you had Vines still, right, from before.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got Vines.
Yep.
So again, he just flipped over the entreat like immediately without having a chance. So I know that it's coming. So this is going to be his opportunity to take out my Glistener Elf. So
but I don't think it really matters, right? With the entreat coming, it's going to block the elf anyway.
Yeah, but my elf would die. Right now it's a 2/2.
Yeah.
And he would have a 4/4 elf or a 4/4 angel. So now
you give it +4/+4.
Right. So now it's a 6/6 elf. So basically my elf will live through this attempt to block. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he only has enough mana to entreat for 1.
So I think he's fine with, right? Because he's preventing your attack, and he's got a Jace in hand.
Yeah. All right. So there's the entreat.
So he gets 1 4/4 angel.
1 4/4 angel. The top goes back on the top of his library.
And
then he'll block because if he doesn't, he's dead.
Exactly.
But again, now any 1 mana spell that I have is just going to get countered because I know the top is there. So complicated.
Well, you don't know what's on top though, right?
Yeah,
the top is right. Right.
All right. So the important thing is my only threat that I have is still alive.
Right. Problem is.
So since his Divining Top is the draw, plays the top. And instead of playing Jace, he ponders.
Weird. Huh. What he's looking for. Oh, he knows the council's judgment is right there, right?
I guess so.
Is that what it's called? Council?
I'm looking at the council's judgment. So, puts the 3 back. Chooses to keep it. And
so what did he have?
He hasn't drawn yet. Or did he draw? I don't think he actually drew.
No, he's still got counterbalance with Jace in his hand. So he's
even if he had the Council's Judgment, it doesn't do anything because it's a sorcery. He'd have to do it on his turn.
Right, which I don't know. Okay.
I think
I don't know what happened.
I think he forgot to draw off his Ponder.
Yeah. Okay.
And in for 2 from the elf takes him to 10. So
wow, I'm really surprised you didn't play Jace at some point.
I know Jace. I feel like Jace. He had so he had 5 mana, right? So you played Jace. You played the top. You know that I haven't had a counterspell because I haven't played. You know what I mean? I haven't even come close to playing a counterspell. So you play the Jace, bounce the dude, and play the top. Then you don't even have to activate the top. You can just activate. You don't have to pay the 1 to spin the top. You can just activate the top, put it on top, and counterbalance my elf. And I'm pretty much locked out of the game at that point. Because you have a Jace, I've got Exalted, I've got just the Noble Hierarch that can swing for 1, but whatever.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what he was worried about.
All right, so looking at their deck lists, he's got 3 Pyroblasts, 2 Clicks, Grafdigger's Cage, a Pithing Needle, a Mountain, a Blood Moon, a couple Blood Moons, a Wear and Tear, Supreme Verdict, 2 Spell Pierces, and Spell Snare. My sideboard, I've got a Sylvan Library, a Viridian Corruptor, a Dispel, 2 Necropedes, 2 Piracy Charms, 2 Nature's Claims, a Careful Study, Bojuka Bog, 2 Groundswells, and 2 Become Immenses. So I honestly have no idea how to sideboard against what I'm doing. I feel like I wanted to bring as many threats as I can against him. Let's see how many... he is playing 3 Terminuses.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think... some of them just don't do anything, like the Bojuka Bog, the Corruptor. Yeah. I mean...
the Piracy Charm doesn't really do anything.
The Necropede doesn't really help you, because he doesn't have any creatures, right?
Yeah. I do bring in the Nature's Claim to kill the counterbalances.
Yeah.
Or even the tops, which...
right, I can see that.
It's pretty hard to get the top.
I think Dispel is reasonable. I'm not sure what you bring out, though. Maybe the...
yeah, I'm not sure either. I feel like a lot of the pump spells, I feel like Berserk is not that great against him.
Yeah.
Because I don't really need to trample over anything. And it's a pump spell, but you also need another pump spell kind of to go with it.
Well, you have to sack the creature afterwards also.
Yeah. So it looks like he's bringing in the Blood Moons, which is a fine answer to the Inkmoth Nexus, but I don't know, I feel like I didn't see a lot of red from him either at the same time.
Right, Blood Moon's pretty good though. He did have, seems like a lot more basic lands than you did though.
He's got 8 basic lands. He's got 3 plains, 5 islands.
Right. How many do you have? Like 1, 2?
I've got 1. I've got a forest.
1 forest.
Yeah, so that would definitely lock me out. The swords are good against me. The Council's Judgment's good against me. Terminus is fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you want Click. I don't think you want Pyroblast.
Yeah, it's a really hard decision when this is your first match ever playing Legacy. Like I have an idea of what Miracles runs.
Right.
But it's so much different when you watch it on the SCG than when you're actually sitting down at the table playing against it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm just not exactly sure which to bring in and what to bring out. I do like the vines because I can protect my creatures against swords if I need to.
Right.
So I think that's a card that I like. The groundswells I'm not as crazy about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're fine. They're not great, though. I feel like I need more stuff to protect against. I might have taken out the probes, even.
Yeah, I mean, you also want cards that are not all the same cost.
Yeah.
Because if you can just sit on a 1-drop on the top of his library, then you can't play anything.
Right.
It's nice to mix in like the Become Immenses and.
That's why I really like Invigorate. Is I don't think he has a lot of 3-mana spells.
Right.
And I can actually pay that. I know I could. If I've got a forest, I can play that for free. It's a little bit harder for him to counterspell with the counterbalance. I mean, he does have forces and dazes and stuff, I think. And I do have counterspells. I just never saw them in that game specifically. He's got 4 forces, 2 counterspells, just straight counterspell. No dazes. And then he's got the spell pierces in the sideboard.
Okay.
Yeah, I really feel like I probably should have lost that last game. I mean, I feel like if he just plays Jace and locks me out, then I'm in real big trouble.
Yeah, it looked like. I mean, he was definitely playing around something. I'm not sure what he was thinking.
Yeah.
Do you know how much Legacy he plays?
I'm not sure. I don't think this is his deck. I think he's borrowing most of it.
Oh, okay.
I think so. I could be wrong. But I would never want to play Miracles.
Seems hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I think all the Legacy decks are somewhat hard.
Right. There's just too many decisions that I'm going to...
I mean, just having to play around cards that cost no mana is tough, like forces, dazes, things like that.
Yeah. It's a good deck. It is a really good deck. I would just I would personally have a hard time playing it. The thing is with like if he drops Jace, I have and it resolves, I have really no answer to it at all. Hopefully I can attack it or something and bring it down, but
does anybody have an answer to a resolve Jace?
I don't know.
That's just like game over, right? Yeah. Whoever resolves Jace is gonna win.
All right, so let's take a look at the 7. He's gonna be on the play this turn. He's got a couple brainstorms, land, couple lands, ponder or dig, and ponders the turn 1 play from him. It's a tundra, swords, and plains.
It's a pretty cool volcanic island he's got too.
Yeah.
Is it all white? What is it?
Yeah, it's just like a photocopy.
Oh, okay.
All right, so he likes it there.
He could have just taken like a red and blue pen or something and scribbled it or something.
Draws the swords for the turn, or for the ponder. I play forest into Glistener Elf. Resolves, pass the turn. Tundra is the draw. Delta is the play. He's got really no interaction here, which is good for me.
Right, he does have 2 brainstorms.
Yeah.
It's a lot of cards you can look at.
Alright. Cracks the Delta. And gets himself a legal land this time.
Okay.
Yeah, with all those brainstorms, you can definitely find something. I think I've got a Blighted Agent in my hand as well. There's the swords. I've got some brainstorm as well.
No days.
No days. And days doesn't even do anything here.
Oh, because you need that island.
You need island, and he's got 1 mana up, so.
Yeah.
Alright, Windsweep Heath. Wooded Foothills, I think it was the draw drop down Windsweep Heath. And crack it.
Okay.
I'm guessing I'm just going to try to resolve this Blighted Agent.
Well, you can't. Oh, yeah, because you have the tropical island.
Yeah. The deck is funny. It runs 4 tropical islands and a forest. Then you got 4 Inkmoth Nexus and a Pendlehaven.
Okay.
So 4, 8, 9, 10, and then a Wasteland. So 11 actual lands that tap for mana. And there's the Blighted Agent.
Okay.
Brainstorm is the play.
Okay.
Just a couple of lands. And I think a Ponder. So looks like the Blighted Agent will resolve. Hitting a lot of lands.
Yeah, he does. It looks like he has 4 lands in his hands. At least. Now 2.
Alright, so the agent resolves. Polluted Deltas, the draw goes right to the table.
Yeah, it's nice he can shuffle away the second land that's on top.
Yeah.
Probably will draw the same one after shuffle.
Probably. Fetch lands and Brainstorm together are just pretty good. So this is pretty funny. You notice he cracked the Delta and then began shuffling his library. He then
before getting the land?
Yeah, then presents on a cut. And he goes, oh wait, I need to get a land.
I failed to find.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Oh, you failed to find. You presented your library. So that was pretty good. Thinking about so many things, some of the most common things you forget to do.
Right. And it's just FNM, so it's not a big deal.
Oh yeah, like I wasn't gonna hold it to that at all.
Should have got him DQ'd or something.
I know. All right, so he cracked the land. Doesn't really have a play. I guess he could dig here if he wanted.
He has a Ponder, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a Ponder.
I have to make it seem at least like I've got the something that could counter the spell.
Yeah.
So a couple of Divining Tops and then a Counterbalance was what he looked at. Takes one of the tops.
Pretty good draw.
Yep. And down it comes.
Now you can just kill him.
Yep.
Not quite.
He's still at 0. I don't know if I have any pump spells. There's a Nature's Claim, which I incorrectly play here.
Because you could just draw the other card.
Yeah, you could just put it back on his top of his library.
Yeah, just draw and then just draw it next turn.
Yeah, so that was dumb by me. Instead, he brainstorms.
Okay, that's reasonable.
And he sees that he's got another top, so it doesn't even really matter. So, Forest, Counterbalance are added to his hand.
So
2 lands.
Land on top. 2 land on top.
Yeah.
Whoa, he just lets it resolve.
He's got the other one in his hand.
But there's no...
I don't think he wants to draw it. Yeah, I don't know.
But it draws you a card, right? I mean, it's the same thing, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I was surprised. I don't know what I was thinking playing it there, and I don't know what he was thinking allowed it to resolve. So
I mean, I don't think it matters. It's just...
right. It just shows that it's Friday night.
2 tops in hand, he has 1 top in hand.
Yeah. It also shows that it's Friday Night Magic.
Yeah.
All right, so Brainstorm resolves. I look at Invigorate. Spell Snare and Invigorate, or is that Ponder? All right, I think Vines and something else went on top of my library. He's tapped out.
Attacking.
I attempt to attack. There's an Invigorate. Is that a force or a counterbalance? Does he have 2 forces or?
I think he has a 1 force, 1 counterbalance.
Oh, okay.
And all right, top and a dig, I think.
Yeah.
It's crazy how dig through time is just like legacy.
Yeah, it's good,
amazing.
Man. All right, so he's gonna force counting the spell.
Dig.
Yeah, I'm gonna play another invigorate and another invigorate. It's gonna put him in a 9 poison.
So he just resolves the Jace and wins. Is it?
That's basically all he needs to do. I mean, he just has to remove this blighted agent, and I'm done for. All right, so he got a counterbalance. Plays the flooded strand. Gets a plains. And I knew, after the first invigorate didn't resolve that, I was only going to put him up to 9 if the other two resolved.
Right.
But I just wanted to make sure, I wanted to put the pressure on him, like basically just give him one last turn to get it.
Yep, you got to deal with it. Oh, there's a
Jace, but he's only got 2 mana. Yeah. There it is. That's how Green Blue Infect takes it down. Probably should going to game 3 here after that first game, but I'll take the win.